What's up, Reefers? Derek back with another episode. Today we're going to be going over how to care for and grow better coral. Hey Reefers, and welcome back for another episode. As always, please hit that subscribe button before we do get started. The more subscribers we have, the more content we can continue to make for you. So to make things easy today, I broke it down into 3 different categories. We're going to talk about lights, water chemistry, and temperature. In my opinion, these are the 3 most important things when trying to set up a successful reef tank, especially for growth. When we think about the lights, what we're trying to achieve here is we're trying to mimic the natural environment that coral generally lives in. Light obviously depletes as you go further and further down in water. You start losing colors as well. So having the ability to control different color spectrums and the total intensity of your lights is going to be absolutely key to having a great tank. I'm personally running the Ecotech Radion XR30Ws. These are not the Pro versions, they are Generation 4, and they do the trick. I currently run them at only 40% of its potential output. And I do that because that's all I really need. I'm gonna do a whole nother episode on just the Ecotech Radions, so look for that in weeks to come. Not every coral is the same. There's coral that require more light, there's corals that are non-photosynthetic, that don't rely on the light at all, and then there's corals that are kind of mid-range. So make sure you do your research before buying your coral so you know where to place them in the tank. For my particular tank, I keep a lot of my SPSs up top because they like the high intensity light. Let's talk water chemistry. Now, we can go into the weeds and I can take you down a giant rabbit hole about water chemistry and the makeup of salt water and what's best and what's not best. We'll save that for another episode. To keep things easy, we're gonna keep it on a high level. The one thing I will say that I want to start with is that consistency is key. You want to make sure that your levels in your tank are consistent. We're not looking for huge swings in anything. Now, these levels aren't going to work for everybody. It's going to be different in every single tank, every different situation. I have a 90-gallon tank, and what works for me is not going to work for the guy down the road. We want to make sure that we're just trying to find what works. The best way to tell if anything's working is just to look at your coral. Your coral will give you an indication. If you look at your coral and they just don't look good, then something's wrong. You really need to find the culprit of what that is and try to change that. Now, to dive just a little bit deeper into water chemistry, there are a few things that you're going to consistently do. One of them is you're going to be testing your water over and over again. The one thing that worked for me is I would test my water immediately after a water change and then test it again right before the next one. What this did is it gave me an indication of how much calcium or alkalinity is being used by the coral to grow. And then what I can do on my end is replenish those chemicals by dosing. A couple of elements that I test for generally are going to be nitrates, phosphates, alkalinity, pH, and calcium. I like to make sure that these are the levels that are in check because I know that these are the levels that help my tank and my coral. What goes hand in hand with water chemistry is obviously temperature. We know that in the wild, we're seeing an increase in temperature within the oceans by a couple of degrees, and it's starting to kill off a lot of these corals. So we want to make sure we're able to regulate that. I like to keep my tank within a 78 to 80 degree range. That being said, make sure you have a thermometer that's always visible. I have one on the side of my tank that I use and check every single day. In addition to temperature, flow is very important. We know that the ocean has a ton of current. Make sure you have a healthy amount of current in there to promote good coral growth. The one thing to avoid with any sort of wave pump is to have the same consistent flow. You don't want it just to be flowing in one direction. The problem with this is as the coral grows, it'll start growing in one direction. It looks a little strange. In the ocean, it has like a shifting current. I don't know if you guys have ever been scuba diving or not, but you can see it constantly flows back and forth. Well, I hope that was super helpful. I really wanted to make the episode very easy to understand, especially for anybody that's coming into the hobby. At least you have an idea of what you're getting into, so you can do it responsibly and not make the mistakes that a lot of reefers do, and that's just jump into it and learn the hard way. We want to save you money, but we also want to save those corals. As always, thanks for stopping in today. Please hit that subscribe button before you leave. And don't forget to visit me on Instagram at TankBro. Really appreciate you guys' support. Any questions, comments, concerns, drop them down in the comments below. And I look forward to talking to you guys next week. Happy reefing, guys.